Oh, he's back. Hi. Okay, I thought I saw a ghost. Francis made it back to the Pluto show. I've had JR on for like 6 straight weeks. I was scared.
Of all the intros I thought you were going to do, there was never thought you were going to scream.
Look, you got me excited about
goats.
Very goat-friendly day, by the way. Francis back from Uganda travels.
Uganda via Mexico, via Turkey, via Rwanda, via Los Angeles.
Cabo.
Yeah.
A great trip. There's many clips up on the channel, some of which describing the trip, other of which not talking about it at all. But you have to click on them to find. In terms of that, if you're watching on Pluto TV, thank you for watching on Pluto TV. Make sure to check out all the other Pluto TYT Network shows. There is like 12 to 24 hours worth of new content, I think every single day, some of which is reran. Regardless, all worth checking out, and we appreciate the support. If you're watching over on YouTube, we start with our first story, which is finally, we can celebrate.
Finally.
The NFL decided to update some of their celebration rules, so I made 2 graphics. The NFL, guess what you can do in terms of celebrations after you score. You can do group celebrations. Okay, you can going to the ground, as they put it, i.e., you are allowed to make snow angels, and you can use the ball as a prop. And then the no violent or offensive imagery and sexually suggestive acts, which I guess to the NFL's case, totally fair. We don't need people like in World Football faking snorting lines of cocaine on the World Football pitch. But could you?
Can you kneel? Of course that comment was coming in. I would have loved to have been there through the demonstration. I would have actually volunteered to be one of the demonstrators to come in with all new celebrations and give a yes or no. I'd be like, can I do this? And then just twerk my way into the room and see how they would respond. No. But now that the celebrations are allowed, what would you do?
I'm a big fan of the, you take the ball and you throw it like a grenade and everyone falls.
Oh, that's great. And the bowling ball as well?
I like the bowling ball. I think that's very good.
Celebrations.
I'm a big fan of Paul. I told you in World Football, Paul Pogba's new celebration with the ride 'em. That's pretty good.
I was trying out a new dance move in Mexico that I'd like to do. I call it the pulling open double doors and pelvic thrust my way into the room. But I don't know if that's offensive or sexy. It's just like I'm just pulling my way in and I'm keeping going. I'm pulling my way into the room with my pelvic thrust. And as Edwin just clearly tells me that it's not going to work in the background, which says, that's so white. And I could not agree more. This white guy cannot dance.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, so and I would like to do that with my teammates on a synchronized line, which again would be even more white if possible.
Hold the lines of fun. Hold the lines of fun one.
Yeah, that's good. What about if they form like the tunnel and then everyone like does something through the middle of the tunnel?
The tunnel's not bad. I think it would be pretty great if they started taking more from some of the World Football where they have like a clap. They clap on the opposing team when you win the Premier League. So I think it'd be really funny if the whole team lines up.
Just claps him
Claps the guy who gets the touchdown. There's so many options now. And look, I think there's going to be some teams that are really creative with this, as they should be. But there's, of course, a couple of people out there who are not happy about this. Marvin Lewis, head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, and we'll get to why this is so hypocritical in 1,000 different ways afterwards. But he had these 2 things to say about it. For one, he is on the competition committee, so I'm not for that at all. Who is on the NFL competition committee? Said of the change, we had a good standard, and the whole standard has always been you want to teach people how to play the game the correct way and go about it the correct way. And that's not a very good example for young people. The rules were changed for a reason, and I thought we had a good outcome. Again, this is a team game, and I don't understand why we want to give it into individual celebrations. Well, Marvin, they said group celebrations are fine, right? But Francis, there's a reason why it's hypocritical for, of all coaches, Marvin Lewis to say that, because Marvin Lewis does have a say over who gets drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals. He has a say of who he signs. He has a say and a responsibility as the figurehead for your players. So I don't understand where he can be coming from when Vontaze Burfict, Joe Mixon, and Adam Pac-Man Jones are all Cincinnati Bengals under his tenure. Good thing the Bengals have Vontaze Burfict, Adam Jones, and Joe Mixon to show the children that there's a better way. That's in response to Marvin Lewis saying celebrations. I do not understand for the life of me how, in any way, shape, or form, celebrating after you score is bad for the children.
He's just in his mind, he's already picturing Cam Newton celebrating and he's getting all
Cam Newton does this, and then he gives balls to kids.
But that's it. That's what it's pissing them off. It's like I don't give. There's so many hypocritical parts of that statement. One, we had a good system that was working. It wasn't working because you were prejudiced towards certain people for celebrating and letting others get away with it. Gronkowski was allowed to do whatever he wanted, while Antonio Brown was not allowed to do a little bit of twerking. So there's such a double standard when it comes to it. So why not just open the floodgates? I get it. There's boundaries. It's the same way celebrating has never really been a problem in world football in my sport, until they introduced the you can't take your shirt off. And that's going to be a yellow card. I thought that's ridiculous because it's so cool to see people rip the shirt off and go crazy.
Fortunately for the NFL, there's a lot
there's
of pads.
a helmet coming off. Someone give me a hand. This is coming off.
You can still get a delay of game penalty, by the way, if you take way too long on your celebration. I mean, if you take like a minute.
There's that next to that already being a stupid rule, when there's introduced the fact is that the team can be punished as a whole based on yardage for over celebrating. That's just the most asinine rule I've ever heard in my life. For someone maybe celebrating a little too much, the team therefore gets punished ultimately for a penalty. It's so stupid to me because celebrating is such a huge part of enjoying a sport that is there for entertainment.
They're saying no sexually suggestive content. So, what's his name? Von Miller, J.R. Jackson's favorite celebration, the very violent pelvic thrust.
Yes.
The pelvic thrust from the abyss, if you will. The pelvic thrust felt around the world, if anything.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the pelvic thrust.
Will not be allowed. It's sexually suggestive. And violent conduct also obviously not accepted. But come on, if you're not excited for some of these group celebrations, I think we're in for some really fun, new, creative ways to celebrate a touchdown.
Oh no, I seen the microphone being grabbed. I've not experienced this for a little bit. That way I just see it coming. Oh, here it comes. I saw it from the distance.
I just want to make sure that we don't have any representation in violence in the sport where dudes bash their heads against each other for an hour straight, throwing each other's bodies across a field, wearing spiked shoes and hard helmets so they can headbutt each other. Don't want any depictions of violence in that.